ladies and gentlemen, very soon.
Welcome to the Shamrock Sports Talk Show with your hosts, Igor Mitic from Serbia, Europe, and Andy Vernon from Concord, New Hampshire. We are about pride, tradition, sweat, tears, victory, and determination of Boston sports. Give us a ring at 512-543-4662. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Now, let's get into the Shamrock Sports Talk Show. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC, where you can find the best in sports talk television and radio shows. Mondays, check out the Just Us Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your hosts, Kevin L. Dixon and Dana Clark. Then Tuesday, we have the Stars Talking Cowboys Sports Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki. And on Wednesday, tune in for the Out the Block Sports Talk Show from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with hosts Robert Lewis, Donna Hainsworth, and Brett Shields. Then meet up with us on Saturday for the Enhanced Sports Talk Show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern with hosts Lou Tenor and Steve Davidson. We also have the DMV Sports Talk Show from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Razul McGee. As well, we have the Shamrock Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern with Igor Mitic and Andy Vernon. Finally, rounding out the week, we have on Sunday, That's Not How We See It Sports Talk Show from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern with your host, Alfred Wallace, Tony Wallace, and Harold Robinson III. These shows come to you by way of the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Shamrock Sports Talk Show. This is season 1, still, episode number 29. So I'm Igor Mitic. Glad to see you, Andy. Andy Vernon with us. I'm in green shirt like the Celtics, and I'm wearing the Celtics badge and my hat. So watch us at Try 99 app. Watch us on YouTube, Kevin Dixon's And the Zone Sports Talk Radio channel, and find us at And the Zone Sports Talk Radio at the Facebook. So what is the subject, the hot topic? We missed the last week trying to take some rest and peace. But Andy, this man, Brad Stevens, is very cruel, and he doesn't want to give us any rest because he is restless. He is working overtime because he was doing some moves. As you all know, Marcus Smart is traded to Memphis, and in this trade, we landed Kristaps Porzingas. Also, in this trade, we gave up Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala. So this trade is like you can see at the screens, Kristaps Porzingas, number 29th pick in 2023 draft, then Warriors first round pick 2024 pick, and this pick is top 4 protected. Wizards is getting Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, number 35 pick, and of course, Grizzlies are getting Marcus Smart. Originally, the trade was supposed to be with Los Angeles Clippers for Malcolm Brogdon, but Clippers backed off from this trade, which was practically done, because Malcolm Brogdon could not pass the physicals, and they were extremely concerned about his health. So because they were concerned about his health, Clippers, Brad Stevens came to solution, renewed the talks with Grizzlies. Grizzlies were desperate to land Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was their destination. Their target from the very start, since Mr. Ja Morant is suspended for waving the gun in his Instagram. So he is suspended 25 games. He should play like 26th game, if I'm correct. And they were searching for the point guard to replace him, obviously, while he's out. And they were desperate. They said, we will give 2 first-round picks. And, that was no-brainer to take. To cut the story short, I have more information, but want to hear your story. Why I think this trade is no-brainer. We all love Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is Bostonian for life. He gave identity to the Celtics, and my partner here, Andy Vernon, is concerned about the team's identity. And leadership, which is understandable, but you can divide this trade to 2 parts. They gave up the first. They gave up the 2. They gave up the 2 first-round picks for Marcus Smart. And we practically landed Kristaps Porzingas for Danilo Gallinari, who didn't play at all, Mike Muscala, who barely played, and number 35 second-round pick. And that's why I think this trade is no-brainer. What do you say, Andy? Andy? I don't know. I don't.
So I apologize. It seems that Igor may be having some technical difficulties, or the website might be having technical difficulties. Basically, breaking down this trade, I don't know how much what Igor said came across. Oh, Igor, you're back.
Yes. Hope that you can hear me. Just shoot, okay?
Okay, I'm not sure if it's you at the website, so we'll see. But go ahead.
No. If you didn't hear my intro, I'm sorry. I said that I think that this trade is no-brainer because of obvious reasons at your screen. You can divide this trade to 2 parts. First of all, we traded Marcus Smart for 2 first-round picks. I love Marcus Smart, but he's 30, and We got 2 first-round picks for him, and we got practically Kristaps Porzingas, who is ex-All-Star, an excellent player, for Mike Muscala, who barely played, Danilo Gallinari, who didn't play at all, and second rounder. And this trade is no-brainer. I'm sure that I would do it if I'm a general manager, and testament to Brad Stevens. I think that Brad Stevens is better GM than the coach. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I'm getting an echo off of you, Igor.
Sorry.
So before we go into the basketball, I just want to, on the personal side, I think everybody in Boston kind of owes Marcus Smart a thank you for the 9 years that he spent here. I know that a lot of people outside of Boston probably don't know this, but Smart was very involved in the Boston community. One of my friends who works in oncology at Boston Children's Hospital told me that, Smart used to come in there the day after away games to spend time with childhood cancer patients. He'd spend a lot of time with them, reading books, just hanging out with them. And I think that that's really special. It's not something that every athlete does. And I think we all owe Marcus Smart a thank you for being such a great, not just a great member of the team, but also a great member of the community as well. With that being said, I do think that the trade makes Boston better, assuming 2 things. The first is assuming that Kristaps Porzingis can stay healthy, and that's kind of been a major concern with him. He has not been the same player since his ACL tear. And then the second factor involved with Porzingis is whether or not he can coexist well with the Jays, because we haven't really seen Porzingis play with another dominant star player before, except in Dallas. And I think that we can all agree that Kristaps Porzingis' time in Dallas was a complete disaster. So I think those are kind of the 2 big question marks I see with Porzingis is A, can he stay healthy? And B, can he find ways to contribute at a star level game after game while still playing with 2 ball dominant co-stars? And I think that that's something that, is kind of a big question mark. It's something that we need to see whether or not he can do. The other big concern I have is Marcus Smart was the closest thing that Boston had to a floor general by a fairly decent margin. And I feel like, we still need to see some sort of move to bring in a playmaker, and beyond the playmaker, somebody who has the feeling where they can control the tempo of the offense, because that's something I felt we've really lacked over the years. And so those are kind of the big question marks I have. But I do agree. I think that this trade has made the Celtics a better team overall. I think it's just it's at the point now where it's a better team on paper, but we definitely need to see the paper translate to the court.
Okay. So hopefully you can hear me well. So the Celtics officially landed Kristaps Porzingas for at least 1 year via 3-team trade. According to Mark Stein, the Celtics strongly expected to give Porzingas 2 years deal extension this offseason. The deal was done because Porzingas opted into his $36 million player option for 2023-24 season Wednesday night ahead of the deadline, but Boston will appeal to offer him 2 years extension, worth 2 years, $77 million on the first week of July. Oh boy. Brad Stevens didn't directly speak about extension talk, but he speak about it. We hope so. We will see how the things are working, etc., etc. Boston gave up number 35 overall pick and Marcus Smart in the 3-team trade. Porzingas expected to be introduced by the Celtics in the press conference next week. And of course, he said that he is excited. Now, this is giving me the head scratcher. I know that Brad Stevens is. Brad Stevens is, the guy, general manager that wants to give the extensions to the players he is trading. Remember the guys that he was trading to the Celtics. But, considering the Celtics salary cap situation and the roster situation, including the Kristaps Porzingas. When you consider for the next season that we have the players, I will tell you situation right now. Kristaps Porzingas 36 millions, Jason Tatum 32.6 millions, Jaylen Brown 31.8, Malcolm Brogdon 22.5. Oh man, he's injured and no trade is available for him soon. Derek White 18.3, Robert Williams 11.5, Al Horford 10, Pritchard for Luke Cornett 2, Justin Champagne 1.9, Sam Kusier 1.9, cap holds Demetrius Jackson, players cap figures Grant Williams 12.9, Blake Griffin 2 millions, JJ Davison 1.8, Caben Gele 1.8. Exceptions that are available to us: mid-level taxpayer mid-level exceptions 5 millions, biannual exceptions 4.9. We have some holds like Noah Vonleh trade to San Antonio, money and available money for Justin Jackson trade exception to Oklahoma. Luxury tax threshold is 165 millions, and total table salaries of the Celtics 173.2 millions. So we are 8.27 millions into the luxury tax threshold. Luxury tax bill is 13.23 millions. But active roster is 173 millions point one. Dead money is 92,857 dollars. Cap holds are 19 millions point 64, and total cap allocations are 192.9 millions. So current cap space, Andy, is 56.9 millions in tax line. 56.9 millions in tax line. So what does that mean? We have, according to the new CBA, super tax apron line. We have super tax apron line. 2023 super tax apron line is 182.5 millions, and Boston Celtics is having still 7.2 millions below that apron line in salaries, of course. But 7.2 millions. But we want to try to avoid crossing that second apron line. Because the penalties, according to the new collective bargaining agreement, are enormous. And while I'm searching for informations about the salary cap, and I have them ready for the show. Please tell me, are you surprised about extension of Porzingas before we see him playing?
I don't no, not really. I'm not really that surprised by it. I think Boston wants to lock in a third star for the long term. And because if you think about it, locking, I mean, there's risk involved because we locked him in. So now if he plays badly, it's going to be harder to trade him. But I think if you're going to make a trade for a guy that's going to be your third star, you kind of have to be all in on it. I will say, in terms of the new salary cap system and being close to the apron line and everything, honestly, I don't think that matters. What history has told us is that you have to pay to win a championship. Like, if we want to win a title, we got to spend. And we got to go, you can't be afraid of going over that line. You got to spend that money to get the players you need to win the title. And, the penalties that you pay, that's the cost of doing business. And that's part of being an owner. If you want to own a championship team, is you got to pay for it. And so I think that that's something that fans need to keep in mind. I think it's something ownership especially needs to keep in mind. Championship teams aren't cheap. I think the cheapest teams in the last, I don't know what Denver looks like. I haven't looked at them, but outside Denver, the last few championship teams, I believe the cheapest ones were the LeBron James teams. So you get away with saving money because you got LeBron, who, love him or hate him, the guy is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. You could get away with saving some money at that point. But everybody else, even the Toronto Raptors, were an expensive team that was well into the luxury tax. So that's something that our ownership has to keep in mind. You can't keep trying to stay under this apron and think you're going to win a championship. That's just the reality in modern basketball. Is if you want a championship team, you're definitely paying for it.
Still didn't find information about the tax line, but I will find it. Another question for you: are you concerned about the thing that? Yes, I found it. I found it. Okay. So I was mentioning this second apron super tax line, which is 183 millions this season, and we are like 7.2 millions below that line. If the teams go over this mark, they will be forced to pay more for going over the tax. The following was released by NBA. Under the new CBA, there is also a level above luxury tax called the second apron. Second apron will be 179.5 millions. 179.5 millions, and we are 7.2 millions below 179.5 millions. We are 172 millions. This second apron line, 179.5 millions, this is $17 million over the luxury tax threshold. Holding into the luxury tax threshold is like 162.5 millions this next season. So salary cap for next season is 134 millions. Teams are able to go over this cap, but will face punishments under the new collective bargaining agreement. One salary cap number to watch is luxury tax threshold, 162 millions. If teams go over that line, they will be forced to pay more going over the tax. Under the new CBA, there is also the level above luxury tax threshold called second apron. Next season, 179.5 millions, the second apron, or 17 millions over the luxury tax threshold. Similar to the luxury tax, the teams will face severe penalties if they go over the second apron. This season, Los Angeles Clippers are 192.9 millions over the second apron, and Golden State Warriors 193.3 millions. Only two teams, Clippers and Warriors, are over the second apron. So LA also has the highest paying team for 2023-24 season, but it could change depending what happens with Draymond Green, because he declined the player option and is said to be unrestricted free agent. So what are the penalties for going over the CBA? As the teams go deeper past the NBA salary cap, the penalties they face are much steeper. For starters, any team in the tax will have to pay luxury tax bill. But this is not the end. According to the new CBA, teams in the tax have limited number of veteran minimum deals they have to offer. We cannot sign as many veteran minimum deals as we want. Also, the steepest penalties came to the teams beyond the second apron because their draft picks will be impacted and the front office will not be able to sign the players in the mid-level exceptions in the free agency. We could not use the taxpayer mid-level exceptions 5 millions. On the top of this, the teams over the second apron will also have tougher time to matching salaries in the trade. So we could not perform trades as we want. Our draft picks money will be impacted, and the biggest penalties for the second apron is not being able to sign the players in buyout market. So Golden State Warriors and Clippers could not sign the players, Andy, in the buyout market. In the past, the teams have been able to make additions in this manner in the weeks leading up to the playoffs, but the most recent example of this is Miami Heat. Miami Heat signing Kevin Love after he was bought out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, for example. But if they're over second apron, it all is gone. A little longer, but I think it was educating for our listeners and viewers, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the penalties are obviously higher, but at the same time, though, once again, if you think Boston is in win now, which I think we kind of are, and you have a choice between staying under this second apron or going out and plugging some of the holes that we know are still on the roster, you go out and you spend the money and you plug those gaps. That's kind of where I'm at with this is, like you can't be so focused on staying under this second apron that you're going to leave gaping holes in the roster to stay under it, because then what's going to happen is, you won't be paying as much money, you won't have your trades and your ability to sign buyouts and mid-level exceptions that won't be impacted. But you're also going to have a gaping hole that's probably going to keep you from winning a title.
I'm mentioning this because the people are asking me why we traded Smart. One of the reasons is this. We traded Marcus Smart originally, of course, because according to Windhorst, and I lost the quote because of myself. Okay, I will find it. Windhorst, like Karalis said also, he asked Brad Stevens, and he answered him in the manner that he confirmed. And also Windhorst, ESPN Brian Windhorst said, was the Boston Celtics decision to trade for Washington Wizards star big man Kristaps Porzingas signifies an admission that they were not championship caliber team? To Windhorst said yes, because he believes adding Porzingas to the roster gives them incredible depth, size, ability to open up the floor with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. This gives deal opportunity for Derek White to step into prominent role without the burden of an ego, potentially benefiting the team's overall chemistry. However, Windhorst said that Marcus Smart departure could create a void in terms of leadership and accountability, and Tatum and Brown now have opportunity to step up and take a charge. Also, I mentioned the second apron, so we are trying to get to the to the map to avoid the second apron the next years when we expect to give supermax deals to both Tatum and Brown. Like you said, you must pay the tax if you want to win the championship. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm scratching for giving Porzingas extension without seeing him playing 1 year. Because practically you are out of this road, Andy, for crossing the second apron by giving him this extension. And we will see what happens to Grant Williams. By the way, we have opposite informations about Grant Williams. Adam Himmelsbach suggested that his days are over. Then after this, we hear some rumors that maybe we will re-sign Grant Williams and Grant Williams will stay. Of course, we want him to stay because we need the good and credible fourth big. But those are some of the reasons. And of course, Brad Stevens didn't think that the team played the way he envisioned, and he clearly answered that to John Karalis. In fact, he make a long pause answering that question. Do you think the team played in the playoffs and the season that you like the way you envisioned? He make a long pause and gave him some kind of diplomatic answer, but it is obvious that he was not satisfied. What do you say?
So I don't really buy into the idea that the Celtics didn't play the way they were expected to during the regular season. I think that the
playoffs more. The playoffs.
I don't think that was really that unexpected because I think that the ownership of this team kind of kneecapped it before the season started by getting rid of Udoka. And as soon as they did that, the expectations of where the Celtics should have been in the regular season and in the playoffs went way down. So I don't think that was necessarily the case. I think that trading for Porzingis looks like a way to try to get a third star onto Boston and solidify the rotation at the 5 at the big position. Because as we move forward, we can't give Horford the same type of minutes that we have in the past. The guy's got 36 or 37, something like that.
Yeah, I think 37. You're correct.
Yeah, and we know we can't count on Time Lord. I mean, if Time Lord actually plays 70 games in a season, I'm pretty sure that's a sign of impending apocalypse. It's never going to happen. So we need to find somebody who's somewhat reliable. Porzingis does have the injury history, but he has had 2 fairly healthy seasons with Dallas and then with Washington. So maybe the hope is that he's kind of getting beyond that ACL injury.
I mean, he's coming off the best season of career. You see the number: 23 points per game, 49.8% field goal, 8.4 rebounds per game. You notice that he's not the best rebounder for his size, 7'3", 2.7 he's awful rebounding percent, and 2.7 assists per game. On the top of that, he's not like the best defender on the world, but he has 7.3 wingspan, and he can be the rim protector in the pick and roll sets, and versatility is probably his quality. You can play him at the center line, lone center with some false fours like Jason Tatum. You can play him with Grant Williams on the floor, S5. He can play starting center. Also, he can play 4 for you with Robert Williams and Al Horford, and expect him in this kind of combinations. And he is the guy who can give you 23 points per game, and he has the true field goal percent, shooting field goal percent like 56 or something. 56. In fact, I think that Stephen A. Smith mentioned that He has I didn't hear correctly, the third best field goal percent, true field goal percent, I guess, in the NBA among the big men, I guess, or something.
Possible.
So he's coming off a really good season. So only concerns are I really hope that we're going to keep Grant Williams, because we need, after Gallinari is out. I was hoping to see Gallinari, but Gallinari is out. So according to the Athletic insider Jared Weiss, the market for reserve forward Grant Williams is uh, uh, the one based off what Jared Weiss is hearing in the league. In the new article, Jared Weiss related there have been over half of dozen teams who have inquired about potential sign and trade deals for Williams. Williams market will be worth projected 12.2 millions mid-level exception, full mid-level exception 12.2 millions. Only about 7 teams in the league would be able to tender an offer sheet without sign and trade, including Indiana Pacers, Orlando Magic could offer projected 12.2 without sign and trade, and 2 teams have expressed interest, Magic and Pacers, alongside Charlotte and Williams. Grant Williams is Charlotte native. Weiss importantly noted the role of new collective bargaining agreement on Boston and whether it would make sense to pay a player roughly 10% of the cap if he were mostly coming off the bench. But if Williams can be assured larger role with the new team moving forward under head coach Joe Mazzulla, after sparse use late in the 2023 NBA season at the playoffs, if he can be assured of larger role, the reunion between Boston and Williams is not out of the question. What will happen to Grant Williams? Your view, Andy?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. It's very hard to gauge what's going on. It's very possible that Boston doesn't even know and they're just trying to play it by ear, depending on what is available on the market and what isn't. The one thing I will say is my big concern with this current Celtics lineup is we don't have anything that even vaguely approaches a floor general. I mean, Tatum, maybe, if you want to view him that way. But Tatum isn't really a floor general, and I feel like that's something we really need with 3 stars that are used to scoring. So I feel like as much as I like Grant Williams, I would sign and trade him if we could get a good
point
guard in return.
I agree. I mean, one point guard, we mentioned a couple of names. Sorry for interrupting you. One point guard that I would love, of course, he doesn't fit our bill. Right now, he's the one in Washington traded, if I'm correct, and his name is Jordan Poole. I mean, I was thinking about how if he is available for cheaper price, I mean, he would be awesome. And he was the part of this trade that you can see. And a look at Warriors lineup. What do you think about Chris Paul trade, by the way, when I mentioned this? Draymond Green, we don't know what will happen. He declined player option, so maybe he will be out. But what will happen with him? What do you think about Chris Paul trade? I mean, I'm not buying Chris Paul as starting point guard anymore for championship team.
He's going to be more in a Jordan Poole role. He'll be like that 6-man borderline starter for Golden State. Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense because I think Golden State is the only team, or one of the only teams, that could really have done that in the NBA. Because Chris Paul, he's not positionally versatile. He's really a pure point guard. He's good enough that you can't bench him if he's healthy, but his health is bad enough that you can't count on him when you're going to need him. So it's sort of this weird situation that you end up with Chris Paul, where you have to play him and have to become dependent on him through the regular season, but then you have a very high chance that he's going to get injured and not be able to contribute in the playoffs. And we saw that happen to Phoenix. So I think it works well for Golden State, because I think Golden State's the one team, or one of the few teams out there, that can put Chris Paul on the bench and it's not an issue, because nobody in the world is going to debate that Chris Paul should start over Steph Curry. So I think that this is really kind of the best case scenario for all of them. Chris Paul's in a great position to get his ring. Outside, I think that's probably the best team he could have gone to do that. And Golden State gets a very solid backup point guard. They could put him in at the point with Steph, move Steph to shooting guard, and let him play off ball. There's a lot of different things that Steve Kerr could do with Chris Paul, and I'm interested to see it. I do have a question for you, Igor, when it comes to Boston's point guard situation. We know that Orlando is one of the teams that is interested in a trade for
Williams. Yes.
Right? So my question to you is, do you think that Markelle Fultz would be possible or desirable for Boston?
I mean, Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz was the guy that Danny Ainge didn't want, or escaped. But why not? I mean, why not? He's potentially one of the targets. Why not? He developed into the solid point guard. I don't think that we need anything fancy with this new team, By the way, I want you to comment me Bradley Beal. Out of those four, we didn't mention Bradley Beal to Phoenix, and we have the odds for championship. Boston Celtics odd jumped to the sky after this trade, but this is another question. Why not Markelle Fultz? I said ideally, if I have to pick somehow, but it's impossible because he is expensive and not available, Jordan Poole. But from the guys that are available and cheaper, Markelle Fultz, why not? Ricky Rubio is one of the guys that you mentioned, and again,
be a great backup point guard.
Great backup. Again, I think that Derek White will be the Celtics point guard starting to the season. And we must find somebody to back up him, because we don't know when Mr. Malcolm Brogdon is going to play. And Peyton Pritchard will stay, I think, after this. This is the good news. He can play like second guard. So I agree with you. Sign and trade for Williams, because, listen, we want to try to balance the roster, okay? We traded away Marcus Smart because we didn't want to give 60, 70 millions to the guards and not to have the decent center line. Okay, I get it. I was preaching for that, and they kind of listened to me. But if you sign Grant Williams, you have 70 millions committed to the center line. So it doesn't make the sense to, put the money away from the guards and not to have point guard, and at the other side to have like the fourth center, expensive center, 10% of your salary cap, like Jared Weiss is saying, and not to have the point guard. So I think that roster need to be balanced again, and I really think that I really hope that Stevens can dig out some point guard, because I'm really concerned about what I hear from Malcolm Brogdon, and what is the worst? He's 22.5 million. So in the next year, unless Brogdon returns to the action and unless he repeats Sixth Man of the Year award, then we may be able to trade him the next summer. But during the year, we may not be able to trade Malcolm Brogdon at all. And we may not be able to see him playing, what is the worst, So that is why we need like point guard or combo guard. About what we need, like I told you, I think that Derek White will have the best year of his career in the starting role because his numbers jumping after his in the starting lineup. His numbers are always jumping, and he was playing solid there. But Missoula didn't use him in the last series against Miami, which is or in some games, which is strange. But whatever, he must use him right now. And like I said, I don't think that we need something fancy, but we need the true point guards who can pass. We will not run the offense through point guards. Porzingas is there to be the third option. Now, I think that we have clear hierarchy in the offense. Jason Tatum number one, Jalen Brown number two. For any reasons, if this doesn't work, number one, number two options, you have Porzingas. So you need somebody to give them the ball and to extend to be the fourth option, to punish the defenses if, for example, defenses are sagging in the pick and roll sets when Derek White is playing pick and roll with Porzingas. He must be able to punish them with the threes. So this is the role of our point guard, but I agree that we need another point guard, or if we cannot find a point guard, then to find at least we can insert Pritchard to backup point guard, and I mean until Brogdon is back. But we need shooting guard then.
Should be good to start the season.
So this is the news, right? He will be operated.
That's what Stevens has said, is that even if he needs surgery, he should be good to start the season.
That's the good news. Okay, so either way, point guard or shooting guard or combo guard is needed. That's for sure. On the other side, if you trade Grant Williams, now you have conundrum that you need a power forward, right? Power forward center or power forward three. Yeah, if you trade Grant Williams. If we don't trade Williams, then we are okay. But on the center line. But if you trade Grant Williams, you need the fourth big, the floor stretcher, okay? Because you cannot play like Cornet, Kabengele, and those kind of guys at four. And the Gallinari is out, right? So what we need is point guard. What we need is, if we trade Williams to give us point guard, we need power forward. And I think that we need small forward. Small forward who can play like 15 minutes per game. 3-and-D guy, defensive first guard behind Jace. I think those are our needs. What do you say?
I mean, I think we more so than power forward center. I think we need a small forward, power forward.
Small forward, yeah. 15 minutes per game.
We need a forward. If we trade Grant Williams, if we don't trade Grant Williams, then we're fine, and we just need a point guard. I mean, Boston may be hoping that Jason Tatum can continue to grow in the distribution role. And they could use him kind of like LeBron, like I'm not comparing Tatum to LeBron, but I'm use him in a similar way where he brings the ball up and acts as the facilitator. That is possible. So that would require Jason Tatum to make a jump in that area, but I don't think that that's unrealistic. He did make a pretty significant improvement in his passing over the last offseason. So I don't think that's completely out of the question. I think the big thing that Boston really needs, we're talking a lot about people to trade for, but I think one of the biggest things for Boston in terms of determining our trajectory for next season is going to be what Jaylen Brown can do to improve his consistency for next season. Because Brown is the second star on this team, unless we consider Porzingis to be replacing him. But Brown is still the second star on this team.
Yes, he is.
And in several instances during that playoff run, he did not step up and play like a second star. And I think two of those situations, Jason Tatum or other members of the team bailed him out with fourth quarter heroics. And in the last game, Game 7 against the Heat, like it completely torpedoed us. I mean, Jason Tatum got injured at the start of that game. I give Tatum respect for trying to play through that injury. It was obviously bothering him. But Jaylen Brown just completely fell apart. It disappeared. Well, actually, he didn't disappear. He fell apart very visibly in the worst possible ways. And he's the number 2 star in a Game 7 to go to the finals. That cannot happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the whole playoffs we underperform. I thought even with the Wizards and the Sixers, the depth chart, new depth chart. So we have guards: White, Brogdon, Pritchard. We need one. Wings: Tatum, Brown, Hussier. Now I love Hussier and his shooting. He's not the best defender, but I think that we need another wing. Who can play 15 minutes per game defensive wing. Now, Bigs, Porzingas, Horford, Robert Williams, Cornet, non-guaranteed. I'm okay. Sign Cornet as a 5th guy, okay? Sign Cornet as a 5th guy. I'm okay for cheap. But if Grant Williams is going out, we need another power forward center. And point guard, I underlined. And if that is complete, I mean, I think that we can be the championship team that we want. I wanted to say something. Kevin is asking us. So we have like 10 minutes left on the trade deadline. Which team is fearing you? I think that the Nuggets are still team to beat, and I'm shocked how the people are underestimate the champions. But I think that they are seeing Denver Nuggets. Championship like accident, like this happened and it will not happen at all. But I think they will be unpleasantly surprised.
I don't understand how Boston went up 8 percentage points over Denver. That makes no sense.
So I mean. Kevin is saying good night to us. I'm sorry that he can be with us this night, and I mean definitely we will talk one of the shows for us. Let's mention Mr. Our draft. So after multiple drafts down, we acquired. We had a 25th pick in the 2023 draft. So after multiple trades, the Celtics entered the trade. The draft with 25th pick, and after multiple trades down, we traded the 25th pick with 35th original pick, and then we got 25th pick. Then the Celtics traded with Pistons, Hornets, and Kings 25th pick, and we ended up with 2 second-round picks alongside with 38 and 39th picks. Walsh number, so we ended up like 4 second rounders. And by the way, I didn't mention the second rounders are more important than first rounders to the teams because they have non-guaranteed monies, okay? And we can sign from the position 38 Jordan Walhs to the 2-way deal, and we we do not need too much money committed to the picks. That's why we traded down. Besides collecting the 4 second round picks, Jordan Walhs is at Arkansas. Nice upside down. The man is a physical beast, a wingspan wise. He's not have the strongest body, but he has 7'3" wingspan, and he's like 6'6", average 7.1 points, 3.9 rebounds, 0.2 assists. 6'6" frame and athleticism, and 6'2" wingspan. He can help us in defensive end of the floor. He's raw, but the Celtics can sign him two-way and send him to G League elsewhere. Considering the Celtics are contenders, picking a guy who can contribute in several years is a good move. And I loved, especially Andy, that I hear that he can defend multiple positions, just like Marcus Smart. And if you remember when Smart is drafted 2014, that was exactly his description, that he is physical beast who can defend multiple positions, and he can play right away the defense against NBA players, but he cannot shoot, and his offensive game is not polished. So if he can polish offensive game, then we can potentially get rotational guy who can help us in our defense. What are your sentiment to the Stevens moves at the draft and these picks that we got in Jordan Walhs?
Yeah, I think Jordan Walhs is a nice developmental project. He may be able to play some minutes as a defender this year. He might be able to kind of plug up some of that gap at small forward position. In terms of, I mean, like, I don't expect him to make a big impact this year, though. Let's just be clear on that. I do like his work ethic. He strikes me as a very hardworking, determined type of player. He has the right psychological attributes, in other words. In terms of trading down in the draft, I don't fault Stevens at all. I think it's a pretty good decision. Really, any pick beyond 20 is more or less a complete crapshoot anyway. So, you know, like when you're talking about the difference between 25 and 35, 38, there's, unless you have somebody you really want to go for, there's not really a difference.
Absolutely. Victor Wembanyama, Frenchman, French connection in San Antonio. Brad Miller in Charlotte. Scott Henderson, that I heard about, Portland Trailblazers. He should be a good player. Thompson, Rockets number 4, etc., etc. Do you want to comment the new physical beast, Victor Wemby, like they're calling him? And which player do you expect to jump out of this board potentially?
To be honest, I haven't followed college basketball that much.
Me
This is my
neither.
protest against the stupidity of the one and done system in the U.S. I don't watch college basketball. But I do think Wembanyama, I think that's how you pronounce it. I think he's a very good option if he can stay healthy. Obviously, anybody that size, there's a concern about health. If he can stay healthy, he is the type of player who could be a transcendent star. I know San Antonio has been working very hard to get themselves into this type of a position, and they definitely, you know, jumped and took advantage of it when the opportunity presented itself. So, be pretty excited to see how that pans out, especially with Pop's coaching if Pop stays.
A couple of pictures and to end the show. Expect unexpected because this pen is not done. League sources tell MassiveLive.com they are far from done after trading for Kristaps Porzingas on this night. Now, quote from Ian Inangelo. I think he's writer. This is Tatum and Brown team right now. I expect them to take huge leadership role moving forward. Smart always was seen as a leader in the locker room. Now it's time Jays to be the leaders. I totally agree, and we will see about that. Horford is leader also in the locker room. This guy, Walsh, projected to be the type of versatile defender every team wants, according to our friend Jay King, which is understandable. Those are the second round picks that you can see. So Boston took 38 pick Jordan Walsh. And you can see the others. Like you said, there is no huge difference between 25 and 38 in quality on this draft, especially. And finally, trade rumors, plenty, half of dozen teams interesting for this man, Mr. Grant Williams. Again, the reunion is not out of the question if we can agree some type of deal. Andy, we certainly hope for the point guard. We certainly hope for shooting forward, small forward, and we expect sign and trade for Grant Williams to balance the roster again and our cap situation that we were talking about. And we're hoping Brad Stevens to surprise us positively this time, more positively again this summer, right?
Yeah, it should be an interesting summer to watch moving forward, that's for sure.
I really think that Boston Celtics got better. I disagree with the odds that we saw because I think that Denver Nuggets are still the favorites to win the title. But Stephen A. Smith thinks, for example, that the Celtics are the favorites, and JJ Redick agrees with him. Half of those analysts are jumping into bandwagons and saying that we are favorites. I don't know why.
No, I know why. They're doing their job by generating hype for the next season so the NBA can make money.
Yeah. I think that we are the favorites at the East, but we do miss some pieces to beat the Denver Nuggets. That's all, Igor and Andy. A lot to talk about. We will talk about Kristaps Porzingas in the next show as well. We didn't maybe to present you Porzingas in the next show and to find you some point guard options. We will see. Listen to Kevin and the other guys and the network. They are working hard. Wishing you good night, good summer. Enjoy your summer and root for the Celtics. Go Celtics. Have a good night.
Go Celtics.
Welcome to the Shamrock Sports Talk Show with your hosts, Igor Mitic from Serbia, Europe, and Andy Vernon from Concord, New Hampshire. We are about pride, tradition, sweat, tears, victory, and determination of Boston sports. Give us a ring at 512-543-4662. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Now, let's get into the Shamrock Sports Talk Show. Welcome to the Shamrock. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC, where you can find the best in sports talk television and radio shows. Mondays, check out the Just Us Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your hosts, Kevin L. Dixon and Dana Clark. Then Tuesday, we have the Stars Talking Cowboys Sports Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki. And on Wednesday, tune in for the Out the Block Sports Talk Show from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with hosts Robert Lewis, Donna Hainsworth, and Brett Shields. Then meet up with us on Saturday for the Enhanced Sports Talk Show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern with hosts Lou Tenor and Steve Davidson. We also have the DMV Sports Talk Show from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Razul McGee. As well, we have the Shamrock Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern with Igor Mitic and Andy Vernon. Finally, rounding out the week, we have on Sunday, That's Not How We See It Sports Talk Show from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Alfred Wallace, Tony Wallace, and Harold Robinson III. These shows come to you by way of the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC. Be sure to download the Try99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support.